Welcome back to Random City Sports Ballers. We're going to talk about another email I received. I've been working to try to help some folks with teams that they're putting together for their leagues. And this fella here was in a bad situation. Okay, he's in a keepers league, and he's taking over for somebody who had a really bad team. Okay. His keepers were not great. His top keeper was Zach Wheeler. He also had Alex Bregman, Cody Bellinger, Lane Thomas he had, and he had Duran, the closer. So this is the best that he could have. So he wanted to work with some way to get this team better. You know, nobody wants to take over a keeper team that someone else had already just done a horrible job with. So he decided he's going to use our strategy here at Random City Sports Baller. He's going to create that army of pitchers. He's going to go after the elite power as best he could, given what was already being kept by other teams. And I'm going to be honest here, fellas. I love what he did. So let's take a look at this email. Thanks for taking a look at this and for all your help. We had two teams who had traded so many draft picks that they were literally full teams around 13. So a lot of my picks, Strider and Alvarez in the first, and Schwarber in the fourth, that was the plan that we had come up with, that he could actually go after these players and get those elite options. Anyways, they got sniped a lot. I had to just take what I was given sometimes. My third or fourth option wasn't even available, so I just stuck to the formula. Home runs are a bit light, but the 2023 numbers are right at 300-ish. Still had a good time. Feel free to use this in a video if you like, and thank you for that, because I do like to show what other people have done with this formula. Let's take a look at his numbers here. On runs, he had 874. Remember, my target is 850, so he has succeeded in getting above the target. That'll get him above 50% wins and runs. He got almost the 300 home runs. Like he said, the targets he had were getting sniped and already kept. So it was hard, I'm sure. I can only imagine what that draft was like trying to find power. But he got to 269. And that's going to get him a lot of wins there. RBIs, I like to see 900. He got to 849. So he's close, and he'll still get a lot of wins there. Stolen bases, now I can understand he ended up with more stolen bases than I do, because the power options he was going after and everything else, he had to fill in a category to get extra wins. So coming up over 100 stolen bases, that'll get him a good amount of wins there. I'm thinking anywhere from 5 to 9 wins for the season on that. And this league uses on-base percentage instead of batting average. Now that 341 on-base percentage, a lot like batting average, I don't invest very highly into that category because it is very volatile, and I think under that advice, he did the same thing. He's still going to get a lot of wins there. Now, this is where it all comes together, fellas, this pitching categories. Look at what this fella did. 109 wins, got over 100, so he's going to have a good dominance there. His saves are at 94, very, very close to the 100 target. So he's going to have some good wins and saves. But look at this strikeouts, 1,793. Oh, fellas, that's going to be a lot of wins in the strikeout category. ERA and WHIP are very volatile, but his 3.44 and 1.17 are going to secure a lot of wins again. I honestly think he turned this, where he took over what is likely a last-place team in his first year, I think he's turned it into a playoff team. What a turnaround. And I'm gonna beg him to please update us, as I need to know how well this goes through the season, because I genuinely think that we turned this into a playoff team, and that is a huge turnaround in a keepers league. So let's take a look at what he drafted. I love the name, Trash Can Drum Solo. That's so cool. I like that. All right, Trey Turner in the first round. Well, right there's where a lot of those stolen bases comes from, isn't it? But he's also got some power, so I think this was a good pick in the first round. Considering what was left over, the keeper situation changes so much in the draft. In his second round, pick 18, he was still able to get Pete Alonso. That's a pretty dang good set of power bats right here. We've already got Pete Alonso, and Trey Turner. That's doing great. Now, his third and fourth round pick, I fully associate with the Army of Pitchers strategy. He took Freddie Peralta for his third round, and his keeper was Zach Wheeler, and that meant that went against his fourth round pick. So these are great starting pitchers here. This is an excellent beginning. Then in the fifth round, he had to use his keeper on Alex Bregman, which is going to work out great. I mean, that's a fine one to keep there. Then he went after a closer in round 6 to start securing some of the rest of the army of pitchers. Without saves, it's really not as helpful. So he got his first set of saves there. Then he went back to starting pitchers with Chris Bassett in round 7 and Merrill Kelly in round 8. Wow, this is really coming together. His fourth starting pitcher is Merrill Kelly, and he's already got a closer. And then his next closer was his keeper, round 9, Duran from Minnesota. So he's got 2 good closers, 4 good starting pitchers, and a couple of great bats. Then he went after Jose Leclerc to try to secure more saves out of Texas, because you really do want to try to get to that 100 saves, fellas. Now he looked at round 11, Jake Berger, a sneaky power hitter. Way to pull that off, buddy. If he can pull off another 30 home runs, that'll be amazing. Comes back around for Cody Bellinger as his keeper in round 12. That's a good way to, he's secured some really good positions now. He's got an outfielder here in this. And then he's back to the starting pitchers, and he's taken a chance on Brandon Pfaadt, Arizona starting pitcher, and I like that pick. I do. And then he came back for Bryce Miller in Seattle, another starting pitcher, another good pick. I really think this is going so great here, fellas. 6 starting pitchers now, and 3 closers with some pretty good 4 bats to line up along with them. Then he comes back at outfield with Brandon Nimmo, and round 15, Then he comes after a second baseman in round 16, Julien from Minnesota. So the bats are really coming together on this power attempt. That's why I can see why he's having to go after some saves along with it, because there really wasn't a lot of power left. Then he taken a chance on Andrew Abbott improving his numbers. I think that's true too. I think that's a good pickup. Number 7 starting pitcher to be Andrew Abbott. Comes back after power bat in round 18 with Jack Sawinski. Another good power bat. Sneaky, cheap power late in the draft. Good job. And starting pitcher number 8, Kyle Gibson with the round 19 pick. Fellas, I love this army of pitchers. Round 20, he took a catcher in Logan O'Hoppe. Good job waiting on catcher. Then in round 21, this could be a big move because Colt Keith is going to secure the job in Detroit, and if he can perform to expectations in this Keepers League, I'm looking at him as a potential keeper in the future. Now, in Texas, if Leclerc does not keep the job as closer, it's probably going to be David Robertson, and look at what he did in round 22. He took David Robertson. And then his other keeper, Lane Thomas, in round 23. A good choice for a keeper there, fellas. So there's a chance here that his keepers for next year will be improved over this year. I like what he did with his league. This is a different type of draft when it's a keepers league because a lot of the top players are already gone. So you have to have found a way to secure some top players along the way. But best you can do when you're taking over someone else's team is do a draft like this. What a great job. So I'm actually pretty happy with what you did here, my friend. And the trash can drum solo, I think the trash can drum solo is going to be a playoff team. Do me a favor and keep us updated throughout the year so we know how it's going for you. All right, I appreciate the permission to use this in one of my videos, and I hope it helps other people in keeper leagues. It's a different type of league. So, anyways, y'all have fun with your drafts and use the formula. It does work.